Hello. Hello. Just checking. Okay, I'm Allison Coe. I am a hypnosis practitioner in Portland, Oregon. I just did a speech up at Eceti on the 4th of July, 2019. And I wanted to kind of not redo, but do for you that speech or give you that information that I gave at Eceti. The reason it's twofold. One, I don't know their policy about sharing their speakers' presentations after the show, after the conference, and two, okay, I had to schedule an emergency surgery the day before I was set to speak at Eceti. Now, this was an emergency dental surgery, and they had to give me some medication. I only took 1 day of medication, and that was July 3rd. Well, I'm so clean now, unfortunately, that I was still feeling that medication the next day. And although my body was there and my flashcards were there at the conference, and I was saying hi to everybody, I have no clue how I did during that presentation. I have no idea. All I know is this: I didn't laugh, I don't think, once. So that in and of itself should let you know how kind of out of it I was. So luckily I had like a couple really good friends in the crowd, and so I could kind of check in with them. Like I could see them while I was giving my speech, and kind of felt like I was doing okay. But I don't honestly know. I have no idea. The information is incredible. The information is so solid. I want to share it with you. Sorry, there's a car going down my driveway, gravel driveway, but and my door is wide open because it's so lovely out. So that's the noise. But anyway, I the information is incredible. I wanted to share it with as many people as possible because it's so cool. You guys will totally dig it. Um, but also to anybody who was at eStudy, I honestly don't know how I did. So I apologize if I was kind of robotic. Now you know why. Now you honestly know why. And even during the speaker panel, I was still like, I mean, I was listening the whole time. I could hear everything. I just couldn't feel anything. And I've been really uncovering a lot of my feels lately. So anyway, it was really weird to be numb. And it sucked. The timing sucked. So here's my speech. I would like to give it to you today, not in the same way I would as if I was on stage, but the information is so powerful. Well, I have it written on these damn flashcards, so you're going to have to bear with me. I don't have it memorized, nor is that necessary. But you guys know what I do for a living, so let me get started on the information. You know, the trends that are revealed in these sessions, they're not just my trends. These are trends that are revealed in other people's sessions as well. You know, of course, the information is just my information, but I see the trends that are revealed in my sessions are also revealed in kind of remote viewing sessions, in other hypnosis practitioner sessions, in channelers information. When people are writing about their dreams or sending them in, it's also revealed in those, in experiencers, people who are taken up to craft or anything like that, or who are involved in you know, active experiences with ETs. This information is coming all over the world. These trends are coming all over the world. So I just wanted to get all of us up to date with these trends that are weaving their way through these sessions, because they're not meant to be taken as one-offs. You know, oh, there's an event that's going to occur. Oh, there's these inner earth beings that we've been contacted by. Oh, there's spaceships surrounding the earth. No, these trends are meant to actually be stacked on top of each other. And as we climb up on top of these trends, we see from a higher perspective. So they're supposed to be added, one added to the other, to the other, to the other, to give us a bigger picture of what's actually going on. So that's how we're supposed to use them, not just as single little events happening or trends happening. Okay? Okay. So what are those trends? All right. So let's see. Bear with me. I have to go through. I talk so fast and then I'm like 5 cards behind. All right. Let's see. Trend number 1. You guys know this. An event or solar flash will happen to raise the frequency and vibration of Earth and its beings. When will that trend happen, or when will that event happen? Soon. Oh, always soon. Always across the board. It's always soon. Bastards. Okay. Trend 2. You are being attuned to this solar flash by smaller energy waves. These energy waves are hitting the earth and they ebb and flow, getting stronger and stronger. During this time, humans start to awaken. Belief systems start to change. They shed their outer layers. Humans are raising their vibration. Systems start to crumble. Governments, healthcare, finance, education, et al. Trend 3. There are other Earth-like planets existing at higher dimensions. They have been prepared for ascending humans. Many are connecting to these planets in dreams and hypnosis sessions and meditations. Some people are experiencing moments of bliss and peace as their frequency aligns to these places. Some people call those planets New Earth. But there are many, so it's hard to just give it one name. Trend number 4. There are ships gathering around Earth to help take people off of this planet. Ships. People are seeing these ships. People are visiting these ships during dreams, meditations, hypnosis. They're seeing them from the ground as well. During the day, during night, people are seeing them. Trend number 5. Inner Earth beings are communicating with us, and they are preparing for some of us to come down. Trend number 6. We are being contacted through dreams, meditations, hypnosis, and many other means by higher dimensional non-terrestrials or ETs. These non-terrestrials are trying to give us an energetic frequency which, when anchored to the earth, will help everyone exposed to it rise up. All right? These energetic frequencies are arriving via inventions, music, stories, healing modalities, and art, and many other means. So these are being given to people, these frequencies. So, for example, a scientist may get a whole bunch of inventions. An artist may get a whole bunch of new paintings that are coming through, or new ideas that are coming through. A musician will get a whole different type of music that's coming through. This is coming through a ton of my sessions, and this is what I spoke about in Sedona last year. All right, so clients who are accessing or pulling down this frequency are being told repeatedly, meditate and create, meditate and create, meditate and create. During the hypnosis session, when we ask who these ETs are in relation to the clients, what we're told is that it is the higher dimensional soul fractal of that client, a parallel life. The client is actually living in multiple dimensions. And it goes on to say, the soul is like a prism fractalized into many different bodies and beings. All eyes are on Earth right now. All versions of yourself, of your soul, are pointing their energy down on Earth. All right. So those are some of the trends. Now we're meant to stack those on top of each other and get a basic understanding about this event, where we are in the world, and our ascension process. But even within those trends, the stories themselves vary. What's going to happen to people? Where are they heading? What are they going to experience during this event? Are they going inner Earth? Are they going, to a new Earth? Are they going to a home planet? Are they going on to spaceships or not? So what I equate that to, that kind of inquiry to, is this. Imagine everybody's at a movie theater. The whole movie theater is packed. When the movie ends, there are people who go to the neighborhood pizza parlor. There are people who go home. There are people who go to work. There are people who go to a bar. There are people who just go all sorts of places, by bus, by train, by car, by bike, everywhere. Not everybody is going to the same place. Not everybody has the same agenda or responsibilities. Not everybody has the same intent or desire. So the differences are because we have different things pulling at us. We have different plans set in place. Don't get caught up in the differences here. So if you pay attention to the similarities instead of the differences, because some people think, oh, if they hear, like in one hypnosis session that people are going here, and in another hypnosis session, differing information, they just don't pay attention to any of the information. Understandably so. But if you get a broader perspective, you can see, well, that's actually true for that group of people, and that other thing is true for that group of people. And that's why we all have a different job, responsibility, intent, desire, and that pulls us in that direction. We have different families that we need to go back to, or different places, home planets that we need to go back to. But some of us need to continue on this other way, being fifth dimensional beings rather than third dimensional. Some need to be continue being third dimensional. Some need to go higher because that's what they signed up for. All right, so that'll all kind of be explained in this, or some of that will be explained. But don't throw the whole concept out just because there's differing information. If you can pay attention to the similarities, you'll actually see a picture unfold. And that's what we get here. This plan for us is so complex. There are so many moving parts. All eyes are on us. There are millions and billions and trillions of beings all across the universe who are helping create this plan, whether it's the actual planning stage, whether it's the actual coming down and experiencing it phase, or whether it's that getting people off, helping them phase, or whether it's getting people home phase after they get off. I mean, there are so many dang moving parts. And so it's amazing that we even have as much as we do. So this is kind of a really cool glimpse into a day of the event, or actually it's not even the day of the event. It's the planning, the day of, and what happens afterwards for a certain group of people who are not connected in life right now. They're all disconnected, but they're all saying the same story, and we're catching pieces of it. And these pieces are like puzzle pieces. And once we stack them together, put them together, we see, oh, this is what happens to this group of people. All right, so let's kind of use that view to watch this unfold. All right, let's catch up. All right, so client one, I actually spoke about this client before. She's an amazing woman. She's an art teacher here in Portland, and just fascinating woman. All right, so in February 2018, this client was taken during her session, immediately during the experience, she was taken to a massive spaceship. She's in a uniform on this ship, and we're told that she's unaware, so that she has no conscious awareness of this, but she is actually bilocating from Earth to this ship every day. So on Earth during the day, ship at night while she's dreaming, all right, or while she sleeps. And currently, when she goes up to the ship that day, there's a huge meeting taking place. And this meeting has beings from all these different places, right? These extraterrestrial beings are in this meeting, and they're all wearing different uniforms. and stuff. So they're not of the same, all of the same group. But what they're talking about in this meeting is about whether or not everything's ready. Is everything ready? Are the ships ready? Is everything prepared? How are the people on Earth? So they're asking her for information, and then she's saying, you know, what's going on Earth. She's giving them her report, and then they're saying, oh crap, we need more ships. There aren't enough people awake. They have to be taken off Earth. They can't handle these huge energies that are going to come during this huge solar flash, this event. And so they thought for example, they thought maybe they needed 2,000 ships. Well, lo and behold, there weren't enough people who could stay on Earth to handle the energy. So now they need 20,000 ships or something like that, you know, just to give you a picture. And so now they're saying, okay, everything's ready. We have more ships now. We have all the accommodations. And so the plan is set in place. And so I'm asking her to pay attention. You know, what else are they saying? And they're talking about who's going to go and who's going to stay, what the logistics are for the people. Let's see. And then people who can't handle the light of the solar flash will be taken aboard ships, and then they'll be slowly brought back down when they can handle the energies on Earth. Some will stay on Earth if they can handle the energies. All right, so that's an example of being on a ship, planning for this event, and saying that a bunch of ships are waiting to pull these people up. All right, so another client, she's taken to the day during her sessions, she's taken to the day of this event when a huge solar flash happens. She sees herself driving with her wife in a car, right? And she's in some kind of rural setting, but it's a small town and everything, and she's like, there's this huge pulse of light, and what it did was it seemed to break a field around the Earth or in the sky, almost like a hologram, and it broke a veil. This light kind of disintegrated this veil, and all of a sudden we see this huge ship in the lower atmosphere. It looks like the Starship Enterprise almost. It's that big, and it's in the lower atmosphere. It's like it was cloaked before with this kind of hologram or this veil that was around it, but this flash just burnt through that veil. And she sees this flash as a huge wave of geometric light. All right, and she says that this huge wave was preceded by a bunch of smaller waves. There we go. All right, so that's one glimpse of what one client witnesses on the day she sees the spaceship, right, in the lower atmosphere. All right, so we have a next client. So this client, during her session, she experienced something, but when we get to the higher self, one of her questions was, can you take the client to the day of the event? That's what she's asking to experience. And so once we get to the higher self, I asked that, and immediately she's taken to this spaceship. She's like, it's super dark, like it's nighttime out. There's a whole bunch of us. We're all kind of, zoned out, or everybody seems zoned out. I'm with my family. We're going into this spaceship. Most everybody is dazed, almost zombie-like, right? But not her. She's saying it's surprising. I'm not like them. She says she kicks into autopilot. She knows exactly what to do and has practiced this drill. So she's been practicing this. She feels like she's practiced it so many times, it just happens to her, right? She's been doing this in her dreams every night. She's been taken aboard a ship, and they run these drills, right? That's what's being revealed to her right now by the higher self. So she sees herself checking. She has a checklist, and she's checking to make sure everything is prepared. She's running down the list, and she can hear herself on the ship asking a bunch of questions. Is this done? Is this done? Is this done? All right. And she sees that they're on the ship. There are a lot of ETs, and there are a lot of light workers, and they're doing different jobs on the ships. And then her role is making sure that everyone is in their compartment with their families, that everyone is where they should be, because they're all still in this kind of zombie-like state, right? and she's making sure people are comfortable and settled in, so families are together so they don't panic, or at least the ones meant to be on the ship are together. And I was like, well, how did you guys figure that out? How did you figure out who's going to be on the ship and who isn't? She says, oh, we have lists. We have lists of it all, and it's all figured out ahead of time. Like, it was all programmed, it was all set up. So that was kind of like that meeting we saw with the first client, meeting after meeting about that, like who's going to go, who's going to be with who. Oh, they're going off to the Pleiadians, so that family member won't be with them, you know, or what have you. And so they know all this stuff. And so someone is there with kind of lists going on of who's supposed to be where. And then they can answer the questions when the family members kind of come out of this daze. So it says, she continues to say that certain family members will be separated because of different connections to star families, or some may not be ascending at this time. Those are a couple reasons. So part of the process on board is making sure somebody is nearby to help people understand, especially for those family members who may be missing, right? Where's mom? Where's dad? And just giving them a complete understanding and like a download of information so they don't freak out. So when the solar flash hit, it took most people out. Most people have this zombie zoned out feeling, right? She keeps coming back to that term, which was fascinating because that feeds forward to the next one, to the next client. So she says they seem really zombie-like. She doesn't quite understand it. And then it's shown to her that light workers recover quicker because they have a role in this process. She's been communicating with ETs both telepathically and in dreams up until this event, all right? And the memories of her interaction, so she's not aware of that. Like in her day-to-day life, even, you know, during the session or before the session, she wasn't even aware of that. And they're saying, no, that's happening all the time. But those memories of those interactions are actually sealed up inside your head. They're sealed up. There's a sheath. They said there's a sheath around these memories. And that when this flash happens, it kind of dissolved that sheath around the memories, and all those memories were now available, and they integrated into her mind as if they were always there. And so she doesn't remember ever not having done those things. So it's just fascinating. And then, so let's see, that sheath doesn't melt for everyone, just the light workers, just the people who can handle the information and who need it to help with the process, right? So that's why all these people are in this zombie-like state. They don't have access to any of these memories, and they're being kind of numbed a little bit, just just like I was before Eceti, right? All right, so they're keeping them numbed a little bit, just so that there's not chaos. It would be utter chaos if it wasn't. All right, so let's see. So she says the sheath didn't dissolve for everyone, just higher vibrational people and light workers. This is what is keeping them in such a daze. Those completely unprepared for this event are kept in this state a lot longer until they can be comforted and assisted, all right? Only so many can be helped out at once. So then she goes on to explain about the rooms in these ships. So in the rooms on board the ships, there are video monitors showing information about what happened to Earth and who is in fact helping them. So then she goes on to say, like, you know, it says stuff like, you just experienced a solar flash. Here's what happened to Earth. Here's why you're on a ship. Here's what's going to happen. And then a whole history is playing along with information about, you know, the ETs who are helping them and what they actually look like. And so they're kind of prepped. These people who have been taken off Earth and who are in these compartments, these family members are prepped for what they're going to experience and who's going to be on the ship, right? So light workers stay in each room so that they can be of comfort and assistance. And then when they're ready to kind of awaken these family members, these people, when they get to them, right? It's kind of like a processing. there's actually, she explains that there's this device and it looks like a hair dryer. She's like, it looks just like a hair dryer, but you can point it at this part of the head where that sheath is still covering those memories, and it will dissolve that sheath, and then they will become awakened, right? So the Earth will experience many changes as she adjusts to the solar flash. Beings can be returned at some point, and then, you know, that information is always vague as to how long that will take, what's actually happening on the Earth. That's always vague in my sessions. Like, there's not, I don't know, I don't feel like I have a huge grasp on, you know, whether the Earth will kind of go through some huge, you know, changes. I mean, it's logical that it will, right? A purging, if you will, or, you know, lots of Earth changes, and then whether people will stay on it or not. All right, so that's always an interesting one to kind of try to get more information on. So it says, then she goes on to say that some beings who didn't come on ships were actually taken into inner Earth at that time when the solar flash hit, or right after the solar flash hit. And they have a they have a similar orientation thing set up there, where they have video monitors and they have like rooms and stuff for families to be in, and beings, you know, families are still in this kind of dazed state. And then she says, but even some beings went on to higher dimensions when the flash hit. And there appeared to be kind of this shimmering energetic field that made itself kind of available. And it would just simply move those beings who are ready to go on to higher dimensions. It would just kind of move them on to those areas. So that's kind of a very cool visual, just kind of shimmering field, and you just walk right through it, almost like a portal. All right. There are beings who had made agreements that they would be here for a certain period and a certain job. Once the solar flash came, they went home or on to another assignment. So another reason why they would leave. I'm just going to be here until the event, and then I'm done, and I'm back, and I'm doing some other job, right, in some other planet. And then the higher self goes on to say the number one thing, or, you know, because I always ask this in the sessions, like, what can people do? What is the number one thing that people can do? What would you like to tell them? The number one thing light workers can do to assist helping others ascend is work on themselves. Their biggest job is sending out light. Healing themselves raises the overall light of the Earth. So you would think it'd be projecting light out, but it's mostly clearing up the channel where the light comes in. All right, so clean up your channel, clean yourself up, do whatever it takes. Get rid of the junk, get rid of the hate, get rid of the anger, get rid of the grief any way you can. Get rid of it, clean yourself up, clean up your diet, whatever it is that you're ingesting into your system, right? Diet isn't just food. It is everything that we ingest. It's the videos that we're watching. It's the music that we're listening to. It's the information that we're getting into our system. It is also the food and the drink and the things we smoke, right? All right. Some of you out there know I like to have a cigarette every once in a while, but I also work out. So it's a cigarette every couple weeks. I'll have maybe a couple cigarettes. Anyway, so keeping yourself clean is super important. Having fun is also super important. All right, so that is what they recommend to light workers. All right, so that was super powerful, right? Super detailed about what one person experiences on the day of the event up in these ships, right? All right, so now we get a totally different view of that kind of same thing happening. Client number 4. All right, this client, amazing woman, she drops down into this life we later find out is a Syrian life. She is a terraformer on a newly forming planet. All right, so this is the experience portion of the session. She's explaining all this stuff that they come, these terraformers, these Syrians come and they help oxygenate the planets to allow for life to begin, right? It's a huge undertaking. There are millions of them that show up. And she's describing her body, like her skin is translucent, white, and glowing. She doesn't have feet. She just kind of moves without touching the ground, hovers across the ground. and she's bald, you know, and looks like a humanoid jellyfish. That's how she calls it. She's like humanoid. She's like, if a jellyfish could also be kind of human, bipedal type, but still kind of like blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and so she doesn't mind. This is her body, right? It works. And so I move her from this one newly forming planet to something else. Like, we always kind of travel through these experiences. What does a higher self want to show you now? So then the higher self takes her to another planet, and it makes her walk across this kind of rainbow bridge. And it says this bridge makes itself available to anybody who can raise up in their vibration. They can travel across this bridge. And I'll give more information about that in another video, I believe, because it was pretty powerful stuff. Anyway, so she's traveling across this bridge, and this bridge like ends at this kind of big, open, beautiful village where all these beings are kind of moving around, and beautiful, lush green planet. She was just like, the air just smells incredible. Everything is just so beautiful, full of vegetation. She was like, I don't even know if there's water here. I can't see it. It's so green. You know, it's just that green. She was so beautiful. And so it's a super peaceful life. And she approaches, I'm like, okay, go pick somebody who looks, you know, approachable, who looks like nice, you know, and we're going to ask them some questions about this place. That is a technique I kind of always do in these sessions when I feel like somebody in the foreground, you know, or background can kind of answer some questions for us. It helps. So she's like, oh, I see somebody nice. I'm like, okay, what does this person look like? And she's like, oh, he's like a dinosaur being with a cape on. I'm like, oh God, that's awesome. Okay. All right. So this caped dinosaur starts talking with her. And he doesn't talk, they communicate telepathically. That's how everybody communicates on this planet. You know, there aren't just words, right? So he's showing her something that he wants her to see. It's an area where other beings are arriving and departing, right? It's this kind of station building. And she says, from the outside, it looks like a super small building, right? But once you go inside, it's super large. It's as large as a football field, she said. And the walls have like all of this cool writing on it, and it's glowing. The writing is glowing, but also the walls don't appear to be walls. It's as if you can see outside. When you go inside, you can see all the trees and everything outside. So the walls aren't just solid walls, right? They're kind of like alive and plasma almost. All right, so she says it's a wall, but you can see through to the outside. There are people there. There are people stationed in this building that show new arrivals around, like hosts. And they tell others, you know, what's happening here, and they kind of guide them. So they kind of show them, you know, what's available to them, right, in this building. And she said, this place is like a train station, or like a transit station, or a gateway. You stop here, you get directions, and then you go whichever way you want from there. And you're somewhere else on the planet or off planet. You can go to the beach, you can go to, you know, to the Pleiades, you can go to a space station, you can go wherever you want. This is simply a place where there's all these different portals, and you go through the portals and you can travel. All right. So, and this is just one of several buildings around or on the surface of this planet, right? So this planet simply is a place to use to go other places. And I ask, well, do you see any, you know, earthlings there? And she says, no, not yet. It's still early. And she goes, and she's still talking to that dinosaur, caped dinosaur, right? And he says, yeah, they're going to be arriving here soon. And so we say, well, why? What's the reason why they're going to be coming there? And they said, there's going to be something happening in the sky. Something's coming, and then they'll arrive. And she says, everyone's so excited for their arrival, for the earthlings to come. And so we move forward. That gives me a clue. Okay, well, let's see if we can move forward to that time, to when they arrive, right? What's going to happen? And so then she's like, arrives on that day, and she's like, there's so many people here. there's so many people and they're all so confused and huddling together. They're not in that building yet. They're out in the village and they're just clinging to one another. And I was like, well, what happened to get them there? She says, just a huge ball of light. And she says, a lot of them don't remember. They remember the ship and landing, but not what happened. So she's saying all this stuff. I'm not like feeding her, well, is there a ship? Well, is there that? No. She's just like, they remember the ship and landing, but not what happened. And she's like, I'm trying to ask them, you know, what happened to them, but they can't communicate with me because I forgot I'm this jellyfish kind of being, and I communicate telepathically. These humans don't know how to do that yet. They have to get acclimated to this planet and that way of being, and then they can kind of communicate better. So I found that to be super interesting. So everyone's now headed into the gateway kind of transit building. And then I asked her to ask somebody in that building what happened to Earth. And she's told there was a big explosion of light. People were knocked out. That's why they don't remember. They were dazed and confused, knocked out by the light. That's why they don't remember. Sound familiar? Some were taken to this planet. Some were taken onto ships. Most were brought here off of the ships, as this is a stopover. It's like a big portal. This building has all these doors that go elsewhere. They go to other planets. There are many of these buildings placed around this planet. Nobody knows where to go yet or what they want to do because they aren't ready to understand their choices. So there's some acclimation that needs to happen for these humans who were taken off of Earth and brought here by ships. There's some acclimation that needs to happen, some knowledge that needs to be kind of downloaded as to what they can do, you know? So they need and want to stay for a while with their families, so they can stay there on that planet for just a little while with their families, as they need to find their family members, because not all of them get to arrive at the same time. This is what she's saying. If they are separated, so basically I'm asking, well, you know, you're implying that they're coming at different times, so how will they find each other? And so this is cool. She says that if they're separated, you go to the building and you put your hand on that wall, that plasma wall, right? And it takes your signature. It takes like an energetic signature and it saves it, but it also looks for that same signature around every other building around the planet. And what will happen is it will show up whenever anybody else from your family, or if you match somebody else who has already had their signature taken, it'll match and show up and give you the information as to where that person is. And so you can be reunited. So that's pretty cool to know. And so the wall, the wall glows and it has veins, so it's alive, it records the information. So if your family is on the other side of the planet, it will tell you and you can go through a portal to meet them. She said, not everyone arrives at the same time, as they can only handle so many at a time. They have to process these people, right? So it's, you know, if you think of like Ellis Island, you have to process people that come to these new places that are arriving kind of dazed and confused into this new land. They're not going to stay on Ellis Island. No, that's what this kind of planet is. It's Ellis Island. They're going to go out from there. It's just one entry point of many. All right. She says, the ones still on Earth, the people that are still on Earth seem to be dazed, almost zombie-like. She actually says that. I was like, what? She actually freaking said that. She said zombie-like. They don't know what to do and need people to help them. To help more get ready, we must tell them what will happen. So she's like going back to Earth. What we need to do on Earth to help more people get ready, to get prepared, is to tell them, to spread these messages, to do these damn videos, which I've been so reluctant to do lately. Sorry. Anyway, so for this client, they are saying she needs to talk to her family. She needs to practice raising her own vibration right now, so she'll know how to help them raise theirs after this event, because raising their vibration will help them break out of this zombie-like state. So they need light workers to have done this work, to have done done the work, right, of raising your vibration incrementally, doing the things that raise you up. So just so you're prepared to help all these other people. That's why we don't all wake up at the same time. So anyway, she says, in time, a spaceship will bring her and her family to this portal planet. This client will get back to work terraforming planets. So she's not going to stay on that planet. Nobody does. That's just a little stopover. She's actually going to get back to her Syrian life terraforming planets. She loves it. She's still living that life. So it goes on to say a part of her is still living that life, but a fractal came down to be human and help as a light worker. There's no name for that planet, that portal planet. They don't have a name because I asked that. I'm like, well, what is this place? Trying to get some information. They're like, there's no name for that. It's simply a portal, but it has to be staffed. Ellis Island has to be staffed. We don't pay attention necessarily to Ellis Island. It's not an actual city. It's just a portal, right? So that's what this is. So you can see now that a journey is kind of unfolding. All of these complicated, parts are inserted. So many beings are helping, from the planning stage to the actual day, to staffing the spaceships, to being there, to having run through these drills, to helping in this portal, helping give them information. And it is just fascinating. So this is just one kind of story unfolding, right? What happens on these spaceships during this event. But there are so many more that we can get access to. And by actually paying attention to these trends and using them to get further and further, or higher and higher in our perspective of this event, we actually are preparing ourselves and what our role will be during this process. So anyway, hope that helps. It's pretty fun to know this stuff. And I feel good having redone my Eceti speech. And there's a laugh for you. I love this stuff. I can't get enough of it. And I hope this helps somebody out there. I'm sure you're getting some of this information on your own, whether in dreams or meditations or hypnosis or whatever modality or tool that you are using. And share it, please. It will help validate somebody else's experience. That validation also propels them further on their understanding. We need each other right now. We need to intercommunicate and interlock our understanding so that we can help each other. All right, so much love to all of you out there. Thank you for your patience and getting these videos out. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.